Hey, welcome to, I don't even know what number this is, the 7th episode of the SerralLadder Diaries, and this time we have Sepasusi, Serral himself, against some Protoss. I don't really know who he's playing against, but it's Barcode Protoss, and if Serral's giving me the replay, that means the game is good. Fingers crossed, it means the game is good. So I'm going to guess this is one of Max Packs to Showtime. I don't know. It's going to be fun to try to figure it out. I mean, certainly if we look at Max Packs and Showtime, we can take a look at things and say, well, Max Packs is going to be aggressive probably. Showtime is going to play a little bit more defensive. But regardless, I think it's going to be pretty fun. It's not like Serral has steered us wrong at all. I think every single replay that he's given us since I've started this series has been pretty good. It's been pretty damn great. So for now, Serral's opening pool first. Well, I think this was gas pool, so he's going to open up with a little bit of aggression, or at the very least an off-speed timing, compared to what you might normally go for in this matchup. And it's really interesting to me that he's doing this on altitude of all maps. I mean, altitude is massive. The natural to natural rush distance is like 38 seconds. There are 5, it's just so big. So the decision to go for early gas, early pool on this map, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about this as if this is Showtime. I don't know who this is, just so we're clear. But anyway, regardless, I'm surprised to see it on this map. So for now, speed's on the way. It's going to be done at like 3 minutes instead of 3:30, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is 30 seconds when we're talking about that. It's 1/7, right, of the total game time. But also, it's just going to catch people off guard. And that is not what you expect here, especially if you are our Barcode Protoss and you don't probe scout. So our Barcode Protoss is going to be under the assumption that that Serral's doing something that is standard, that is normal, but he is pumping lings out on the map. He's got 2x2, and he's droning behind this. Don't worry, he's on 18 drones, but he's going to go up to 8 lings, 10 lings, something like that, and the countdown starts. Speed's halfway done. So what the hell is Serral doing here? I don't know. This is new to me. Meanwhile, of course, this is going to be Stargate opener coming out of our Protoss player, which tells me it's probably not Max Packs. Maybe. Max Packs, of course, loves his Adept play. He loves his Twilight openers, but that's not even really a tell. I mean, let's be real. Twilight or Stargate opener is probably the best way to play the game. But anyway, 4 lings on the left side, 4 lings on the right side. Speed is done in about 10 seconds, maybe even less. So now the lings, they're going to broach the high ground. They're going to find an Adept here. The lings into the natural immediately. That's a great surround. This Adept will not survive at all. And now there's a Stalker out, but already damage getting done. Half the lings are dead, but it's going to be a couple dead probes. It's going to be a dead Adept. And can he find the scout into the main? Absolutely. Serral has everything he wants. He gets the Adept. He kills 3 probes. And yeah, he loses the lings, but this last one's going to be annoying for just a little bit longer. And he knows exactly what his opponent's doing. He saw the Stargate. The first Oracle now on the map. Let's see if we can find the counterpunch that it's looking for. But because this was such an early pool, it also means early queens. There are 3 queens on the map already, 2 more on the way, and Serral's well positioned. 2 queens of the natural ward this Oracle off pretty easily. What you gonna find in the third there, Mr. Barcode? Or Miss Barcode? I don't know. There's nothing there. Not a single drone. So Barcode gets nothing. Nothing at all. Serral gets all the damage. I mean, ideally, yes, would he kill his opponent with those 8 lings? Sure. But he's not going to. So now double Oracle's going to fly in, and hey, they get a drone. They get a single drone, and they kill some larvae. I mean, that's something. But there are 3 queens here. And the 3 queens from Orient Far will force these Oracles to no longer bear gifts and travel so far back home. But okay. Lings, they're going to find the pylon. They're going to try to get on top of this Adept as well. And there we go. Immediate surround. So this does buy time. And does buy a warp-in, certainly. But it's going to be another dead Adept as Serral runs away. And actually, Barcode warped in a Zealot. I imagine this was just a factor of how much money was available, but it is... You don't want Zealots at this point in the game. Like, not at all. Maybe once they have charge, sure, fine. But otherwise, now they are pretty dang useless. I guess if you're plugging a wall, that's also fine. But now the Oracles are going to try to dive in. That's a couple drones on the transfer, so that's going to be pretty nice here as a Queen takes some damage. But actually, oh, it's getting red. It's getting red. That's a dead Oracle. So now, for the cost of 4 drones, 3 drones really up that last fly in, and Oracle falls. And I don't think you're going to look at any Protoss player and they're going to say, wow, that was worth it. But Serral. Whew. He's experimenting with something. Where's that second Roachborn? At the front. Okay. Is this going to be for burrow and speed? Or is this a mistake? There's a very real world where this is a mistake, by the way. But, you know, considering how tightly timed they are, I think they went down at very similar timings. I would not, and one is hidden, one is not. I would not be surprised to see this actually intentional coming out of Serral right now. First Roachborn is done. Drones have to get pulled to make sure that these Adepts don't get too much done. And while the Adepts are going to try to chase into the main. But for now, our barcode just staying in the natural. 3 more drones hit the deck, and there we go. Both Roachborns are dead. Lair is dead. Roach speed on the way. Serral. Drop tunneling claws. Do it, Serral. Okay, I guess the answer is no. I guess he just built the double Roachborn on accident. Build the one in the main for a timing and the one in the natural as a wall as a fake. I don't know. But it is unfortunate regardless. And now the Oracle shows up, gets the revelation. Doesn't see the Roachborn though, I don't think.
Research complete.
Seems like that answer is no. He has no idea. Ah, man, I'm so disappointed. I wanted the Burrow Roach idea. You know, it's like you get double height. There used to be a build. I don't see it anymore where you get double Hydroden and Serral. Interesting. Okay, so there we go. He got it. I thought this was patched out, but I guess it's not. As now the drone's going to try to take this gold base, but there are charge lots and Archons right here. That seems a little bit dicey. Even if you could hold on to it eventually, well, there just was not going to be enough HP on the hatch here to start. So 1 Roach triggers the stasis. That's the start. Meanwhile, Serral on the other side, counterattack onto this 4th base, and that is far more exposed than whatever Serral has on the right side. So Lings find their way on in, and yeah, there's a warp in. Zealots will force this back. Anyway, we got to talk about what Serral did. I don't know that we have to, but I was under the impression that that had been patched out, where if you put a structure down that has enough HP, when the rocks, they don't kill the structure, but they do go and do damage. The rocks do disappear. And I saw Dark do that with an Evo chamber recently, and it didn't work. But it turns out what the problem was that Dark had just not let the Evo chamber build itself up to enough HP, but we got to hold that thought because here comes the push of Serral. Disruptor is going to get a single Ravager, and that is not going to be enough. He's up 50 army supplies, so pressure comes into the 3rd. Queens have walked here as well. And now with the Overlord as well, that's a bunch of creep getting pooped here. Serral seems destined to take this 3rd base out. I mean, their Archons, sure, fine. What are they going to do? Biles are going to continue to get dropped on the pylons. Canada, though, still working for the time being until the Biles go and kill it off. 7 Biles is the magic number. Meanwhile, on the other side, Zealots go for a counterattack, but there are Roaches defending. That's really not going to find all that much. Disruptor shot's going to go out. Serral tries to target it down, and he does. Okay, back up on the second one. The creep continues to push forward. This is going to be a dead 3rd base. There's no saving it whatsoever. Biles go down. They get the Robo and the base, and the splits from Serral are absolutely effervescent. They're sparkling. And now we got a creep highway back home if that's what Serral wants to do. So not only does he kill the 3rd base of our barcode, which is fantastic in and of itself, but he also establishes creep pretty much on the entire right side of the map, or at least if he wants to. He's got this nice highway on in, and a Disruptor gets a Ravager. Sure, Serral's got to be careful. He's going to lose another Roach, but if he just wants to rotate up on the high ground, I think he can kill this base, but he doesn't know about it, not just yet. So Disruptor shot, that one's going to be much nicer here. And now Serral's got to rethink his engage, but I'm not sure he can run away at this point. Too many charge lots are going to really join the fray. So Serral kites backwards, gets on top of these Archons, taps 1, taps the 2nd, and maybe I misjudged myself when I said that Serral had to run away. Meanwhile, Zealots in the main are not finding the value that they want. So Serral Hive on the way. Hydra Den done. And he's actually going for Groove Spines. Okay, so I was not sure, and I'm still not sure, whether Serral is going to be going into this Hive and Hydra Den strictly for... Oh, okay, no, this is absolutely going to be for real Hydras. Groove Spines for a second, but it's Hydra Speed at the end of the day. I was not 100% sure whether this was going to be just for straight lurkers or Hydras would get added in, but it seems like Serral does want to add those Hydras as he pushes in, and there's not an army here to defend. It is just knocking down the shield batteries and curtailing some of the positions that this barcode Protoss might be able to have on the map. And Serral's going to be very happy to continue to expand his creep on the north side. Though, this lack of connection pains me. But there we go. Lurker Den's on the way. Hydra Speed's just about done, but not a single Hydra has been made. That's a bit awkward. Okay, Serral thinks about diving in, but there are 5 disruptors at this point. That is almost enough to make sure you have constant shots in it. It's damn near close. So now the army runs forward, trying to seize on top of this slim margin, this slim opportunity that Serral may have, but it's not going to happen. And now the Protoss player reestablishes position. This creep teamer will fall, and we have detection as well, I think. Yeah, there we go. There's the observer. Disruptor shot goes out, gets a couple roaches, and now it's going to chase Serral right on out of here. Vipers, though, they're done. They don't have energy just yet. It's the Biles land, but they are on the map now as Hydra's getting added in as well. So Serral's army is starting to increase its complexity. Of course, he's not just there yet. He really does want that Viper energy before he does much of anything. But that will make it much harder for these disruptors and these Colossus to really fight. Although, of course, there's a... Oh, good timing there, Serral. Oh, he burrows up. Okay, well. I was going to say great timing. He finds the base and denies it. But instead, he just loses the roaches. The burrow was nice, but there's an observer. It's not really going to find what you're looking for. Meanwhile, Zealots find their way into the main base outside of the natural. These are not... Again, they're just not finding value. And if we look at resources lost... Serral has traded better than the Protoss. Which, how often do we see that happen? So now Serral on the north side once again. Stasis trap triggers on 1 roach. And this time, Serral's got Vipers in the fray. There is... Blink is done, but there are not a lot of Stalkers in this army. Bunch of a High Templar on the backside. Maybe that's going to be something. Great feedback there on a couple of them. And now Disruptor shots on the backside. That's going to force Serral back here. He had this idea of the army. The shots, though, are absolutely massive. And Serral, from this once powerful army, is not really finding much of anything. But he will, at the very least, counterattack on the backside. These Zealots, as they warp in, even with +3, are not going to be enough. So Serral seems likely to at least kill the pylon. Perhaps even kill this prospective 4th base. Or prospective 5th, excuse me. Yeah, so this 5th base, I think, yeah, it's dead. Even with the disruptor shots going out, Serral's going to stick the target. Shots, though, are pretty massive. And every advantage that Serral has had this game is, there we go, roaches will burrow, but shot's going to kill him anyways. That's an interesting storm there, my friends. Interesting storm there, Barcode. It's not going to kill the roach, and it's just wasted energy. But any sort of supply lead, any sort of advantage that Serral had out of that push, I thought it was looking promising. But the High Templar, they got the feedbacks that they needed. And there were massive shots on the backside. So now our Protoss player, he's able to knock down a lot of the creep. He's well on position to get his 5th base up, even as Serral gets ready for, what is that, his 6th? Yeah. That's kind of fine for the Protoss. You stay 1 base ahead. Barcode's just about maxed out, sitting on 4 disruptors. Maybe you want 3 more, but even still, 5 storms, or actually more than that, but 5 High Templar, a couple Colossus. This is a pretty powerful army. And he's going to push in on the left side as he's got a heavy Zealot pressure marauding on the right. Meanwhile, Serral sacrificing his roaches at this point. The roaches are not nearly as useful as they might otherwise be, but Serral's going to give the base up. And now there's a recall going to be forced in, so this roach hit squad's not going to get the base. Meanwhile, Barcode gets Serral's nascent 6th, so Serral loses 2 hatcheries. The roaches, they're going to get an Archon, and then they're burrowing up because there's no detection with this army. The forges all went down. This barcode, though, is starting to find the momentum that he might be looking for in this game. Resources lost starting to get a whole hell of a lot closer. These roaches, yeah, they're going to equalize now. The roaches will fall. Resources lost now down to around 700, but Serral, he does get lurkers on the right side. That will force this base cancel. There is no position that our barcode has to make that happen. And yeah, he's moving into Skytoss play, but it is pretty damn late into this game. So that's a little bit awkward. Random lurker on the left side. This barcode could kill it. And by the way, as we look at how this game is going, I'm becoming more and more, I'm not going to say certain, but more and more, I think it is more and more likely that this is Showtime's barcode. He really likes this ground pounding style. We've seen him do it quite a bit, and he's just playing the solid defensive style, this comeback ability. Oh man, massive storms there on the lurkers, but there's so many here, and the blinding clouds as well, causing so many problems. The barcode's got to run away. The disruptor shots are out. Abducts there on the Colossus. Disruptors, they're just fighting. They're just sitting there. They're soaking damage, and the lurkers are doing so much. And now, even as the zealots warp in, even as well, there are more immortals there. That was so much of the tech of the barcode, and he lost a bunch of probes as well. 45 dead probes over the course of this game. So 17 more Hydras on the way coming out of Serral at this point as he's getting ready for, well, not even getting ready. He's continuing this Hydra Lurker Viper style, getting upgraded Lings just for counterattacks. Banelings are nice, of course, against the Zealots. But our barcode is starting to transition. And yes, Serral does have a Spire, but he's not really upgrading on it. Not yet, not really doing much with it, as that should be a dead, not even abduct energy spent. That's a dead disruptor there. But we do, of course, have our barcode. He's transitioning. Three carriers are just about done, but the problem is there is no Skytoss upgrades. There's no +1. There's no shields even, which you might get for air and ground. So this carrier transition that might have otherwise been terrifying, not really a thing anymore, is now the Lings are now going to find their way forward. Storms maybe get dropped, but no, it's going to be feedbacks on all the Vipers, but there is 2 Vipers still have energy, so this is still a bit problematic as the Interceptors, they start to get released, but Serral establishes a sieged up position between the natural and the third, and he's just going to pump right into the natural here. Showtime, or whoever this Protoss is just not in great position to defend, so the High Templar run forward. They don't have storms just yet, and this feels like a bit of a chokehold, but now here we go. The Protoss goes forward. Great blinding clouds on some of the army. The Colossus just not firing. And there we go. We have our feedbacks, but the Zealots, they're going to come spilling on forward here, and they're going to clean up everything. All the spell casting seemed great, but, well, it's just not going to matter here. The lurkers will fall eventually, or they would if we'd had detection. Seems like Serral targeted the Observer down. And everything I was talking about, how good of a fight that was, I was lying. I was lying through my teeth. These 16 Corruptors are on the way. The Lings on the left side, the Hydras as well, are going to get damage done to the economy here and into the main. Lings find their way even more because the Natural's dead. And even it was looking good for a second until you looked at the supply. It's like, wow, you know, the flank here. The lurkers are falling down. But Serral breaks right on through anyways in this solid defensive play. Unfortunately, the transition feels like it was just a little bit too late. And the carriers, by the time they popped out, they did not have the upgrades they were looking for. And Serral found that one fight into the natural where he had like 20 lurkers. And he was able to make something happen. So now the Lings, they unburrow, they reburrow, they're just being obnoxious as possible. But Serral's already just about remaxed. He's built himself 20 Corruptors. These the one thing that our barcode has in the sky, yeah, it's just going to be a tap out. Serral takes the one fight that he needs after 20 minutes of, quite honestly, bashing his head against the wall. And Serral takes this game on the ladder. Don't know how many points he won, but knowing his MMR, scant few. But friends, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this and you got to the end of it, consider dropping a sub. I upload videos 7 days a week, give or take. 6 casts, and then on Sundays, the Nidus News Network, where we go over the news of the week in a more highly produced video. And also I stream quite a bit, twitch.tv/BamOff. You should check it out. But for now, see you next time.